I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know what I was talking about. Science. What is it all about?
No, I have no clue.
Not a doctor.
Here's what Creepy used as evidence for evolution, and we debunked it last night.
So the evidence I supposedly trotted out has already been debunked by Hovind. Intriguing. Come on then, spill the beans. What marvels of misrepresentation did you conjure up this time?
Bring it on, sister.
I'm practically vibrating with anticipation. Now I know you think you've debunked me, Kent, but can you back up anything you say with evidence? Because as far as we are concerned...
You couldn't back up a phone, you cunt.
Shut up and sit down, you big bald f***.
Please subscribe.
The fact that embryos of different species look remarkably similar in their early stages of development, again, points to a common ancestor.
That's me. And what I just said in my previous video, that's a fact, Kent.
Not a doctor.
And that is, it's impossible to debunk, like most facts are.
Okay, Creepy, I think I destroyed that pretty well last night. Would you like to remove it? Admit I'm right? Admit you're wrong?
Let me give that some thought, Kent.
A few moments later.
No, because you're not right. So you're not gonna show me how you debunked it, you're just gonna tell me you did. Well, sorry, Kent, that's not how debunking works.
I can go on if you want me to, Ken. So...
No, I'd really rather you didn't go on at all, but if you're going to, let's just here's some more of your evidence. Cover one more tonight, then we'll take open mic questions here.
Come on, Kent, you know you wanna go on. I think you secretly like me. I mean, why else would you keep making videos about me?
Would you please still be my friend?
To say that nothing in science aligns with evolution, that's either willful ignorance or a profound misunderstanding of, well...
Or maybe it's true. You give two options, neither of which is correct, Creepy. If I said, which is correct, elephants are orange or elephants are pink, what would you say?
Grow up.
You say I didn't give enough options. They're not either one. You give two options here, neither of which are correct. This is really faulty logic. You need to take a course on Logic 101.
Oh, the irony! It's too much!
Okay, you want more than two options? Well, here they are.
Spank you, helpy helper.
It's either willful ignorance, a profound misunderstanding of science, or option 3, as requested, you're a liar.
Oh, you're a liar.
Pretty much everything.
I'm wrong on everything.
So which is it, Mr.
Which is it? Gives me two choices, neither of which is correct.
Ah, yeah, but now you've got 3 options, Kent. Willful ignorance, misunderstanding, or you're a liar, liar, pants on fire.
Which is it, Mr. Creepy?
You're a comic genius.
Have you ever considered busting the myth of the geologic couple?
And have you ever considered changing the record? No, because I haven't made any content.
What did he say? Have I ever considered what?
I said change the record, Kent. You must have heard that over the past 30 years while you've just been parroting exactly the same nonsense.
He hasn't made any content on creation, has he?
About young Earth creationists for such a long time. It's almost as if I'm looking at this with a fresh pair of eyes, and it's...
You need to start looking at it and trying to understand it.
Maybe I do. Or maybe I'm just not nuts enough to agree with you.
Because you are brainwashed into believing your dumb religion of evolution.
Well, that's rich coming from someone who seems to have mainlined a very specific interpretation of a very old book and declared it the only truth in the universe. Now, my dumb religion of evolution, as you so eloquently put it, is actually called science.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know what I was talking about. Science. What is it all about?
No, I have no clue.
It's built on testable hypothesis, mountains of evidence from multiple different fields, and peer review. You know, the stuff that encourages you to question things, not just blindly accept them, Ken.
You're not looking at it at all, Creepy. Okay.
It's not taken me long to deduce that Kent Hovind does not present any arguments. His entire argument is nuh-uh.
Okay, Creepy. Last night I did a whole, 45 minutes on just the one point about the gill slits. That's not a just nuh-uh. Are you going to remove that as evidence, Creepy?
No, I'm not, Kent. I would remove my left testicle before I removed one of my videos, because I know with 100% certainty that every piece of information I share in my videos is backed up by mountains of scientific evidence.
Yes, science!
I know you won't, because that's all you got. And honesty, why be honest if you're an atheist? I mean, there's no God to answer to.
Hang on a second, so are you honestly saying that people can only be honest if they believe in God?
Are you taking a piss?
So to be honest, you have to lie to yourself about the existence. It doesn't matter.
Why don't you do a program on that? Who made up the silly idea that layers are different ages back in 1797? And really put it together in 1830. Totally influenced Charlie Darwin and still influences students today. And it doesn't exist. Every speck of dirt in the universe is the same age, Alan.
Yeah, exactly like that. All you did then was disagree. You didn't
I presented a clear point. Every speck of dirt in the universe is the same age. Do you not learn how to pay attention yet?
Oh, you're talking to me? No, it's not true to say that every speck of dust in the universe is the same age. Cosmic dust has a wide range of ages, formed at different times and through different processes, and it happens throughout the history of the universe.
I did present an argument. That's all I've done all my life with these kind of things. I present arguments to say, this isn't right. It's much more logical. See, here's the difference. I admit that I believe by faith God created the world in 6 days, like he said he did. It's in the world's best-selling book written by eyewitnesses to the event, okay?
And dare I ask which version of that book? Now, if I remember correctly, creationists use the King James Bible, don't they? Oh wait, it doesn't matter anyway, because none of them are science textbooks. And the fact that you just said yourself that you only believe the earth is young because of your faith completely invalidates anything you say from this point on. Now, if you believed that the earth was young and then said nothing about it, then nobody would care about you. No, wait, scratch that. Nobody cares about you now. But yeah, if all you have is faith, then you have nothing at all.
I admit this is a religious belief, and I'm not asking that to be taught in public schools. You guys have a religion that all the universe came from a dot of nothing exploding, and you want to demand that we all pay for that to be taught like it's science. It's not science. It's a religion, and you're welcome to it. But don't force it down the kids' throat as part of science. Go start a private school and teach evolution. Anybody wants to pay and come learn it. But it should not get a single penny of PAC tax dollars.
Really, Kent? You want to talk about paying taxes? You, of all people.
Present an alternative. You didn't put forward any...
I'll put forward an alternative to the layers of the earth being different ages. All the layers of the earth were laid down in one big flood.
Tell me then, Kent, how did this single flood manage to create the intricate layering we observe, where we can see a clear progression of life forms over what science has consistently shown to be millions of years, not thousands?
So my alternative explanation is...
Wrong? Yeah, we know.
That the tide, during the flood in the days of Noah, while the earth is covered in water, the tide doesn't get interrupted by banging into continents that are sticking up, because there were no continents sticking up. So the tidal pumping, pulling the water up and down, would probably become harmonic and go to 200 feet. Instead of like Bay of Fundy is 100 feet, but typically tides are 4, 5, 6 feet around the world. In Florida, it's about 4 feet. So if the tide weren't interrupted, the tide going up and down would make the water rush back and forth, and that's what made all the layers that we see in the earth.
Tides are primarily caused by the gravitational forces of the moon and the sun. And while the absence of continents might theoretically allow for slightly larger tidal bulges in a completely water-covered earth, jumping from a few feet to 200 feet globally and harmonically creating distinct, well-sorted layers of sediment, each containing a specific fossil record spanning millions of years, is a leap of faith so large, Evel Knievel would be jealous. He could have jumped the Grand Canyon without falling in. But let me ask you this. How, for instance, would this tidal sloshing sort sediment by density and type with such precision that we see distinct layers of sandstone, shale and limestone? And how would this back and forth water movement explain the formation of things like fossilized coral reefs, which are built up over thousands of years by living organisms in specific environmental conditions?
You should invest in a sand art toy, Creepy.
Yeah? Well, I can think of a book that you should probably invest in as well, Ken.
All the layers are the same age. Every speck of sand in my sand art toy here is the same age.
I dare say the sand is the same age, Kent, in your sand art toy, but your sand art toy isn't the universe, is it?
You guys really need to get up to speed on your geology and on your common sense. But anyway, that's my alternative. Creepy, I presented an alternative. The flood did it.
You did, Kent, so round of applause from me. But I do feel the need to accept some responsibility for poorly explaining exactly what it was I was asking you for. I wanted you to provide an alternative that was plausible or based in reality, not snatched straight out of the Bible.
But see, the Bible says at the end of time, scoffers like you would be willingly ignorant, that means stupid on purpose, of the creation. They don't understand what the world was like, and they're ignorant of the flood.
Damn, he's got me there, because he's right. I am ignorant of all those things. Because the Bible is not a science book.
I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you.
By sharing made-up information, yeah, that's really helpful, Ken.
Got a, what, comment?
Evidence for your side of this argument.
How do you explain Just 1 second. petrified trees standing up, running through these layers that are different ages? How do you explain that, Adam?
You act like these trees are some kind of unexplainable anomaly that defies all scientific understanding. Well, newsflash, they're not. While it is less common for trees to be preserved standing upright, it's not impossible.
I've been waiting for you to bring up petrified trees because, see this lovely picture from my hometown of Swansea? Well, this is a petrified tree which has been dated by scientists, not by the Bible, as being 300 million years old, Kent. And that's in Swansea, where I live.
And we do understand how it can happen. There are a few scenarios. One is a rapid burial by a catastrophic event like a volcano eruption or a mudslide. If the tree is buried quickly enough before it's had a chance to rot and fall over, the mineralization process begins, essentially turning the tree into a stone while it's still standing. Think Pompeii, but with trees instead of people.
Oh, wait, creepy. You said there's several alternatives. You gave one, that maybe it was rapid burial. That's what the flood would do, Creepy.
Well, you can say anything you want about Kent Hovind or young Earth creationists for that matter, but they are nothing if not predictable. I knew he would blame the flood for this. We've already covered why the flood didn't happen, and even if it did, why it wouldn't be responsible.
Here is what you need to explain. You're claiming the layers are different ages by millions and millions of years.
Well, yeah, but remember this, Kent. These are not my claims. This is information I was able to very easily find out and get verified for myself from other, much smarter people than you and I. Especially you.
Not a doctor.
Petrified trees in the vertical position are found by the thousands. And you're right, a rapid burial like a mudslide would do that, only all over the world, like a giant, flood in the days of Noah.
Somebody would do a rapid burial on you. Sorry, I was thinking out loud.
Out of everything that's on the internet, this is the best thing.
A few moments later.
Sorry, I got a bit overexcited and ran out of the studio. Men my age have got no business running anywhere. But Eric Dubé has published a video called Flat Earth is Stupid.
One of the most common phrases I have heard incessantly repeated by neophytes since reviving the International Flat Earth Research Society is, "Flat Earth is stupid."
Well, perhaps these neophytes have at some point encountered basic geometry, satellite imagery, or dare I say, evidence. But who needs evidence when you...
Well, we're waiting.
That's a bit embarrassing. That almost never happens. I just can't think of a single thing the flat earthers have.
Shut up and sit down, you big bald f***.
Please subscribe.
Even though it was historically the consensus cosmology among literally every ancient culture.
Historically, you say? There's a bit of a clue there, Eric. If you mean historically, as in thousands of years ago, that is. It seems your grasp of history is as insane as your thoughts on the shape of the Earth. Now, while some ancient cultures certainly had their flat Earth moments, the ancient Greeks, you know, those chaps who practically invented logic, figured out that the Earth was a sphere centuries before the Flat Earth Society was even a twinkle in somebody's eye.
In modern times, the concept of a flat Earth has become synonymous with stupidity. Calling someone a flat earther is now meant to insult their intelligence.
Indeed, it appears that embracing a demonstrably incorrect model of reality in the face of overwhelming evidence to the contrary tends not to be seen as the hallmark of intellectual prowess.
Special Officer Dukey reporting.
The association of flat earther with a lack of critical thinking is, shall we say, understandable.
And I understand.
Well, I understand too.
It suggests a certain reluctance to engage with the scientific method, logical reasoning, and the vast body of knowledge accumulated over centuries that shows quite clearly that you are all, without exception, completely insane.
But is this an accurate stereotype? Is the idea of a level, stationary Earth really the epitome of idiocy? And are people who promote it really so utterly unintelligent?
While I don't go around calling everyone who entertains the notion of a flat Earth a complete idiot, but I usually fail. At least I try, though. The evidence for a spherical rotating Earth is so monumentally overwhelming that rejecting it requires a creative approach to information processing.
Great Scott!
Modern mainstream science treats the current conclusions of cosmology and astronomy as settled, set-in-stone subjects with little room for dissent.
Science in its ideal form is a constant process of questioning, testing and refining. New data emerges. New data emerges, old theories are challenged and sometimes paradigms shift. Think of Einstein's theory of relativity, which built upon Newtonian physics, but also fundamentally altered our understanding of space and time. So it wasn't exactly a settled affair, was it? But if you're hoping that one day science will throw up its hands and say, okay, fine, the Earth is flat, well, that's just never going to happen, because there is quite simply no evidence to support that view.
The heliocentric globe theory is never admitted in academia as being theoretical, but rather taken for granted as a cornerstone of modern scientific knowledge.
Ah, the old theory versus fact tango, is it? Now, it's a common misconception that theory in science means a guess or a hunch, but in reality, a scientific theory, like the theory of gravity or the theory of evolution, is a well-substantiated explanation of some aspect of the natural world, and it's based on a vast body of evidence and repeatedly confirmed through observation and experimentation. Now, the heliocentric model with the Earth orbiting the Sun isn't just some whimsical idea, like the flat Earth, and nobody dreamt it up on a Tuesday afternoon. It's supported by centuries of astronomical observations, precise measurements, and the elegant consistency of physical laws.
If Earth is not a spinning ball revolving around the Sun, however, then nearly the entirety of modern science and the majority of modern scientists are proven to be either frauds or fools.
And that right there, Eric, that is why flat Earth and by extension flat earthers are so completely ridiculous. Isn't it far more plausible that the overwhelming consensus among the scientific community is based on overwhelming evidence? A spherical, rotating Earth elegantly explains a vast array of observations. A global conspiracy of silence and idiocy on this scale, really? That would require a far more convoluted and, quite frankly, less believable narrative. Yeah, I think.
Therefore, questioning the shape of the Earth is the equivalent of scientific blasphemy, and flat earthers the equivalent of scientific heretics.
While it might feel that way to those questioning such a fundamental concept as the shape of the Earth, it's less about dogma and more about the robustness of the evidence. Think of it less like a religious tenet and more like a well-established fact. Like the boiling point of water at standard pressure. You can question it, but you'll need some pretty compelling evidence to overturn centuries of consistent observations and experiments. And the same applies to the shape of the Earth, pal, whether you like it or not.
Is this treatment truly warranted, though? Testing ideas, challenging assumptions, and furthering knowledge through evidence and critical scrutiny is the very definition of the scientific method. Science encourages and requires dissent to clarify conclusions, and questioning established scientific norms is precisely how new discoveries are made.
Well, you're not wrong. For once, Aristotle provided observational evidence for the spherical Earth based on lunar eclipses and ships disappearing hull first over the horizon in roughly 322 BC. Then Eratosthenes calculated the Earth's circumference. Your entire belief system relies on you claiming that everyone else in the world is in on some sort of gigantic lie, to which I say, don't be a twat.
Oh, no way!
One of the forefathers of the heliocentric globe theory, Galileo himself, said, quote, "In the sciences, the authority of thousands of opinions is not worth as much as one tiny spark of reason in an individual man."
Indeed, Galileo's powerful quote about reason over authority is spot on. He used his tiny spark of reason, which was backed by telescopic evidence of Venus's phases and Jupiter's moons, to challenge the dominant geocentric view, which was supported by tradition. He wasn't dismissing all accumulated knowledge, but rather highlighting the importance of empirical evidence and logical deduction over blind faith authority.
In other words, science is not a democracy, and scientific authority is not derived from majority opinion or expert decision, but rather from reason, evidence, and experiments.
Precisely, you've hit the nail square on the head. Science isn't a popularity contest where the most widely held belief automatically becomes truth. Scientific authority in its ideal form stems from the rigorous application of the scientific method. Observation, hypothesis, formation, experimentation, data analysis, and peer review. A well-supported scientific conclusion isn't accepted because most scientists agree with it, but most scientists agree with it because it has consistently withstood scrutiny and is supported by a mountain of evidence and logical reasoning. You know, all those things the flat Earth doesn't have, which is why it's a joke.
Globe defenders often deny or downplay the amount of legitimate criticism presented by skeptics, but it is undeniable that there are a large number of valid objections to the heliocentric globe theory.
Name one then. And when I say name one, I mean one that's supported by a large amount of evidence. Now, while flat Earth proponents might raise numerous questions or point to perceived inconsistencies, the vast majority of these objections fall into a few categories. Misunderstanding of basic physics or geometry being the first. Most often, your misunderstandings are just based on your own flawed interpretations of how things work on a rotating sphere. And then you rely on anecdotal evidence or misrepresented observations. You know, I don't feel like I'm spinning. That's not exactly a robust scientific argument, is it? And conspiracy theories, which by their very nature tend to dismiss any evidence that contradicts the predetermined conclusion.
Casually denying something deemed stupid and deferring instead to expert opinions without doing your own due diligence in carefully considering all arguments commits two logical fallacies.
Yeah, whatever, we'll get to your logical fallacies in a minute. The problem is, Eric, when you give that advice, do your own research, some people do. And maybe that's your problem, because they find out very quickly and easily that the Earth is a globe. I bet you haven't considered that little factoid, have you? Critical thinking demands that we examine arguments and evidences ourselves, regardless of the source or the prevailing opinion. We should be willing to engage with different perspectives and weigh them based on their logical consistency and empirical support. For example, globe, lots of evidence. Flat, not so much. And that's me being kind, because the reality is there's none at all.
Firstly, mocking, joking, or otherwise dismissing something as dumb without presenting a logical reason why commits the fallacy of appeal to ridicule.
Now, there are some out there who would say that that's what I do, and to those people I would say two things. Firstly, I do provide validated scientific information in my videos when it's appropriate. And two, I don't care. Flat earthers just aren't that important.
Secondly, blindly believing in something simply because all experts agree commits the fallacy of appeal to authority.
Yeah, but you're only a flat earther because most idiots on the internet agree that the earth is flat.
Citing NASA images or astronauts' testimony as proof of a globe are not admissible as scientific evidence because they are not readily repeatable.
Think about it. While you might not be able to personally repeat the experience of orbiting Earth, the images and videos are consistent with a wealth of other evidence that is repeatable. We can track satellites whose orbits behave exactly as predicted by a spherical Earth. We can observe ships disappearing hull first over the horizon. We can even measure variations in gravity that are consistent with the mass distribution of a sphere, not a flat Earth.
The average person will never experience the frame of reference required to confirm or deny such claims.
And yet it's perfectly acceptable for the thousands of flat earthers infecting the internet with their brand of shite. Or that's okay to claim that the earth is flat even though... See the problem with what you just said?
So quoting them as proof of a globe is invalid and unsound reasoning.
Yeah, but there isn't a single person in the world who only believes that the earth is a globe because they've seen pictures of it from space. Every single... I'm wasting my breath here, aren't I? This is like pissing into the wind. Greetings, peopleses. Now, there might be rumours, whispers, perhaps even poorly researched social media posts suggesting that my 100k subscriber thank you video is fashionably late. Now, let me be clear. I've been conducting extensive long-term studies on the optimal temporal displacement for gratitude expression. The data is finally in, and it turns out that, yeah, I'm just really slow. But my appreciation for every single one of you that helped me obliterate the 100k milestone and those who've joined since is immense and immediate. So before I start another study, and as a thank you to all of you for sticking around, here's my version of Stand By Me to say thanks for, well, for standing by me. So here we go.
Shut up and sit down, you big bald f***.
Please subscribe.
Not today, Cousin Avi.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the blue is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. And darling, stand by me. Oh, stand see. I won't cry, I won't cry, oh I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. Darling, darling, stand by me, oh stand by me. Should do some rapping today. Stand by, let's do some rapping after the kids. Stand by me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But there are times in my life when I feel so alone, even surrounded with people. It's like I'm on my own, and then I think of you. And now you once came along, and you've been a real friend, and you made me feel strong. Time goes by, won't drift us apart. We will always be friends like we were at the start. And I know when I call you, will understand. And I know when I need you, you will stand by me. Won't you stand
by me?
Won't you stand?
Whoa, stand by me.
Won't you stand?
Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. By me, won't you stand? Stand by me, stand by me, stand by me, stand by me.
Thank you very much, that's Darren. I'll pack a room. I'll see you back here tomorrow night.
And there you have it, my musical stylings finally unleashed upon the world. Well, unleashed upon you lot anyway. My ever-patient and clearly discerning viewers. No, seriously though, from the bottom of my slightly sarcastic heart, thank you. Thank you for 100,000 subscribers and for sticking around through my extended creative process. And thank you for being the kind of audience that gets me. You make debunking the world's nonsense worthwhile. So stay tuned, stay tidy, and don't expect another musical masterpiece for at least another... Well, let's not make any promises I can't keep. Cheers, everyone. Love you. Bye.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever